Good morning. How y'all doing? It is Red Beard. How are you fine, fabulous book people doing today? It is a damn fine day to talk about a book, and we are here for Beard on King. And if you watched my episode on Holly, you know I don't really know where I'm at on those. I think this is episode 24. And today we are going to talk about The Outsider by Stephen King. I did this book on audio back when it first came out. It's one of the first audio books that I did. I was walking a lot. I tried to take advantage of the time. I sucked at audio books. I was horrible, especially on anything new. I then found that, um, I can do audio books on nonfiction stuff, especially if I have an idea of the story, like I did other books like Columbine. I also did some comedy type stuff. And then I started rereading King stuff through audio because, again, I knew the story. I'd read it before, but it was time to revisit and so on and so forth. So, anyway, this was a reread, but this was actual. I actually read this copy. So it wasn't audio this time, but it was a reread for me. Again, what I remember about this book on first read was that I loved the premise. I loved the build up. I loved the first half of the book. And the second half of the book, based on the nature of the threat, based on the, let's say, um, alien. It's not really alien. It might be, I don't know, but the alien nature of the threat, the unexplainable nature of the threat. Of course, how the fuck are you going to explain it otherwise? But anyway, um, I was less in love with that. Now, again, on first read, I wasn't fully on board with Holly yet, and now I am fully in the Holly Gibney camp. So, on second read, I enjoyed it, the second part of the book, a lot more. I'm at 4 stars on this one. I really liked it. So, let's get a little bit of synopsis and we will go from there. An unspeakable crime, an abundance of evidence, a confounding investigation. In The Outsider, Stephen King delivers one of his most unsettling and compulsively readable stories. An 11-year-old boy's violated corpse is found in a town park. Eyewitnesses and fingerprints point unmistakably to one of Flint City's most popular citizens. He is Terry Maitland, Little League coach, English teacher, husband, and father of 2 girls. Detective Ralph Anderson, whose son Maitland once coached, orders a quick and very public arrest. The case seems ironclad, especially when Anderson and the district attorney are able to add DNA evidence to go with the fingerprints and witnesses, but Maitland has an alibi, and it turns out his story has incontrovertible, that's a hell of a word, incontrovertible evidence of its own. How can two opposing stories be true? What happens to a family when an accusation of this magnitude is delivered? When must reason or rationality be abandoned in order to explain the inexplicable? As the investigation expands and horrifying answers begin to emerge, King's propulsive story kicks into high gear, generating strong tension and almost unbearable suspense. Terry Maitland seems like a nice guy, but is he wearing another face? When the answer comes, it will shock, as only Stephen King can. Yeah, Terry Maitland, upstanding citizen, little league coach. The evidence points that he brutally murdered and raped a small boy and left his body to rot in a town park. Uh, and what the fuck? I mean, everyone in town knows Terry. Everyone trusts him. They put their kids with him. I mean, been little league coach for years and years and years. He's an English teacher. What the fuck? Very public arrest right there on the baseball field. Embarrasses him. I mean, ruins his reputation in front of the entire town. And of course, the town is split. Camp Terry, Camp Not Terry. More and more evidence comes out. Camp Terry seems to dwindle down to about nothing. This man, if he's innocent, his reputation has been ruined. Now, I am not going to go deeper into the level that Terry Maitland's demise comes to. But think of his wife, think of his children, think of the bullies at school, shit talking, your dad's a killer, blah blah blah, and the effects that it has on the entire family and the entire town. So, first half of the book, we are not necessarily from Terry Maitland's eyes, but we are following the beginning stages of what happens, and then in the second half, we kind of get into really figuring out, what's really behind all this. I mean, how can a dude be in two places? How can Terry have been away at a conference with his English teaching pals to see Harlan Coben speak, and I thought it was kind of cool. Again, I love bits about books and books. I've never read Harlan Coben. My wife's watching a show though right now. I don't know the name of it, but it's a Harlan Coben written or inspired show. But anyway, I got off track there though. But how can he be there and be murdering this child? And how can he murder this child and just show his face at the baseball field the next day to coach a championship game? I know there are deranged, sick, narcissistic, killers out there, but how? Second half of the book is more of the how. That's when Holly Gibney gets pulled in, and we are tracking the how. And I don't really want to give much more info about that. What I will say is I dug the location of the climax. There's a particular location. We'll just call it a cave. It's more than a cave. It's not just a cave, but there's a particular location. Love cave horror. Love, I don't know, just the aspects that it brings to it, the claustrophobia, the danger, whatever it is. But I love the location of the climax. I really, again, I read this after having read Holly. Read it a second time after having read Holly. Loved her role in this. This is, in my opinion, where you really see her take control and be the badass that she has become. A huge fan of her and Ralph Anderson's relationship in this book. The just again, the way they play off of each other. Ralph Anderson is the one that is responsible for the public arrest, for putting Terry behind bars, for what happened to Terry and Terry's family. He is responsible for that. So if, that's a big if there's a possibility that he was wrong, that it wasn't Terry, he's all in on pursuing that to its ends. So cool relationship between them. Again, at this point, Holly has lost Bill Hodges. Bill Hodges has passed away, and the relationship between Ralph Anderson and Holly, while not completely reminiscent of that, kind of felt good. I kind of felt, satisfying, like the Holly Bill Hodges relationship. Anyway, I dug this book, 4-star dug it. Huge fan of Holly Gibney stuff. Of course, huge fan of Stephen King. There are a few books along the way that he has done that I didn't do. I'm catching up on those now. I'm doing Sleeping Beauties that he did with Owen King right now, and also, again, when I set out to do this, when I started to do Beard on King, I was setting out to do everything, and a lot of those were going to be rereads, probably mostly in audio format. I mean, like, for example, Misery. I've read it. I know the story. I know what happens. I even know the differences between the film and the book for the most part. But I have to revisit all these things before I can come here and talk to you. So anyway, this is Beard on King. This is episode 24. This is The Outsider, 4-star, like the book. I have watched the series. I don't know if I'm prepared to speak on the series, but I might try. I'm definitely not going to go back and watch it again. Anyway, Well, Redbeard, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.